She spent the last month exploring the wilderness, trying to find herself, and she returns to the city. Emily Altomare joins us. Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good morning, Luke. I'm good. How are you?
Good to see you this morning.
None of that is true.
Oh, I don't know where I got
Unless
this information.
you consider my couch the wilderness, then yes, lots of time in the wilderness over the last month.
Excellent.
So, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do when it's cold out.
Yeah, it is. Well, Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. It kind of feels like we've been in the new year for a while, right?
You're supposed to stop saying it after a week, but I haven't talked to you.
Yeah, we haven't seen each other yet. So we were just covering our holidays a minute ago.
So 2024, what does that mean to you?
That's probably not encouraging. No, I think there's a lot. There's new exciting things on the work horizon, so that's good. But I know you and I have talked about just how incredibly fast 2023 went.
Oh, yeah.
So I think 2024 is going to be just as busy, just as fast. But we've already got new folks involved. We had a ORA tourism meeting Wednesday of this week. So we have Stevette Rosen, the new Oil City Main Street manager, joining us. And there she started on Tuesday. The James Schreffler, the new director of Franklin Marketing and Events in Franklin, has joined us for the second time for that tourism meeting. And then Cassidy is the new director of the DeBent's Antique Music World. So she was also, so we had three new people. So it was almost like we had as many old people to introduce to the new people as we had new people to introduce to the old people. But it's an exciting time. So, that always means like there's like a little bit of a learning curve, but also new ideas and, getting to new folks. Rosette and Cassidy are from out of the oil region proper, so they even bring with them just this is what they do in the town I just moved here from, and things like that. So it'll be exciting to have a little fresh blood and new ideas to roll around with the committee. And then we've got 2024 is a year that we will make a visitor guide to have ready for this time next year.
Oh, wow.
Which instills only a small amount of panic, because I know that's a great big project, but very worthwhile.
It takes time, doesn't it?
It does. It's, I think, 56 pages, and we reuse a lot of the content year after year because a lot of it's information we want people to have for sure. So, and a lot of it stays the same in terms of the history part. We still try and incorporate, new facts and new ways to make that interesting for people. But the history heritage part, then, the trailheads and the trail systems. So a lot of that stays the same, and we're just adding in, additional new segments that come on and events around those things. So, and a lot of the events are annual events that happen year after year, thankfully. But, it's making sure we're freshening everything up and we're getting the new stuff in there that we need to have in there, taking out anything that is no longer relevant, maybe businesses who have closed and that sort of thing, but then still freshening it up, new photos, new new perspectives of the stuff that we've already talked about.
So obviously there's a lot of planning involved with that. When's the deadline to try to have all the information in so you can start putting it together?
Like the end of September, early October, because that gives me a little bit of wiggle room, like a month to track down any last minute things that didn't come to us. But I mean, we start in the summer, and if somebody emailed me this morning and said, I have an idea, or here's a photo, or why aren't you talking about this in the guide, we'll start incorporating that stuff already. But
and I ask that because we're in the same boat at times where we're trying to sell fall sports in June or July, and people are like, no, I'm in the summer mode. Come see me in August. Like, well, that's
too late for me.
Yeah.
And hopefully for you, you'll have that spot sold already. So people need to jump on getting.
But around here, I think there is that challenge of planning ahead. And I've enjoyed when you've gone to an event and somebody says, okay, if you've enjoyed this, look for this same event to happen next year, this time, and where you can kind of map it out. It really cuts through, I think, some of the clutter because people are, back to full events and multiple things now on weekends or during the week.
Right.
And, there's a lot going on, which is great. But yeah, it does require, I think, some people to plan ahead a little bit. Say, okay, next year, 2025, what does that mean for my business? Well, yeah.
Absolutely. And thankfully, there are people in the oil region who can help you plan and market your business, whatever your business may be. So yeah, reach out to those people. I think that's great advice, especially, starting the new year, plan earlier.
But so you're saying too, you're not necessarily on your own. Like, so if you're interested in getting something in to be published, they can sit down with you and you can help them work through those concepts and
Yes.
what would actually be a good ad or story or whatever to put in here. You can work with them on that and help guide them.
Yes, absolutely. And we're happy to have input and suggestions, but also, like events that are run by other entities. Because, of course, the Oil Region Alliance is responsible for very few of the things that happen that we talk about in the guide in terms of events and festivals and even like the offerings from the museums and things like that. So having more input from those event organizers is super helpful. And thankfully, that's part of the job of the tourism committee, is a lot of that is made up of representatives of arts councils and the people who are more involved in those festivals and special events that can speak to them more directly.
And these guides, they can be found all over, right?
All over. In the trunk of my car.
In the trunk of your car.
So
bury these suckers.
Yeah. So they're all over the visitor centers, local hotels, the Titusville Sheets Wall. Local businesses sometimes have a little rack that they will restock or let me know.
If you're on 80 and you're outside Philadelphia or whatever, there's...
Funny you should say Philadelphia specifically, but because the World Cup stuff is going to take place, some of it, in Philadelphia, so we have to have a subscription to a service that puts our guides out at specific welcome centers, travel centers, AAAs, those kind of things. You can't just like put your stuff out there. So we every year you get a map of all those different welcome centers and you get to choose which ones you want to be in. And sometimes it's, eastbound, westbound on 80 or, all that stuff. So we have shifted a few of our locations from 2023 to have more around the Philadelphia area for 2024, knowing that there's going to be a big influx of travel and tourism to that region. So we'll see if that pays off. It's kind of a guessing game, a little hit or miss, but you never know like who's going to stop and pick that up and take it with them. But so part of it is just having it all out there and being available.
The hand motions
yes,
to go with
that's
it.
right. The hand motion. It's all out there. Same thing. Also, it's digitally available from our website, so it's easy for you to share a link to friends and family, either from a mobile phone or send them an email. So easy to share, easy to access, easy to reference back and forth wherever you are in the country or the world.
Speaking of tourism, there's a lot of things going on right now, but I want to just kind of jump ahead real quick and then we'll come back.
Okay.
Speaking of tourism, this was a couple weeks ago. I was in a meeting, and it's really the first I've heard that there's this big push to promoting the total eclipse in April.
Yes.
Like, what?
It's less than 90 days away. Okay.
Wow,
What's your specific question? It's like 80 days away.
Well, I was just completely surprised. I mean,
that we're having one, that people care about it.
That people care about it, but it's not just, like all over Northwest Pennsylvania, universities are gearing up, cities are gearing. I'm like, okay, this is new. And then I find out a friend of mine, back in the fall, I was talking to him. He lives in Tampa, and he came up to visit, and he's like, I'll be back up in April. Oh, great.
Nice.
But that was sort of it.
Okay.
Like,
and you thought Easter?
Well, no, I wonder why he's coming back in.
Taxi?
Well, here he's coming up for the total eclipse. I'm like,
as he should.
Okay, so
as everyone should. So it's the total eclipse is important. Luke and I actually experienced the 2017 eclipse together at the Crawford County Fair on Titusville Day. That was not a total eclipse here.
Right.
This is where I have to put on my degree from NASA. Definitely don't have one of those. So no one hold me to the scientific language that I'm not going to use correctly. But so the path of totality for the 2017 eclipse, we were not in it. It was kind of going in the other direction. But that was a super big deal because it really covered like from Washington State across the whole country, kind of diagonally towards Florida. So this one is going sort of the opposite direction, where it's like going from Texas across, again, hand gestures, across to the northeast United States. And that path of totality, the closer you are to it, the more fully the sun and the moon are going to align, and you will have that perfect, I don't know if corona is the right word in this case, but that little like glowing ring, but then there will be darkness. So the eclipse that we saw, it was sort of like, 70-30 coverage or something like that. So it was like neat to experience, and everybody seems to enjoy those types of like once in a lifetime, like, hey, why not? Let's get together. Sort of like St. Patrick's Day. If you're not passionately Irish, you're just like,
Everybody
okay,
is, yeah.
I'll put on some green. I'll participate. I'll maybe go to a parade because it's fun once in a while. In this case, this is the only time for the next 120 years that there will be a total solar eclipse, I believe in North America even.
Really?
There might be something sooner, but like in North Dakota. So this is definitely oil region residents, Western Pennsylvania residents, once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to experience a total solar eclipse here. So like even babies being born right now may or may not live till the next total solar eclipse in our area. So that's why it's special. That's why it's unique. Of course, there's a ton of astronomical things that happen all the time. And if you are a scientist or someone who follows that, there's so much to get excited about. But in this case, it is a big deal because it's rare. It won't happen again in our lifetimes. It is close. Look at that perfect graphic, just showing the path of totality. Yeah, and so what's going to happen is Titusville specifically is in the path of totality. Oil City and Franklin are a little bit outside of it. And I heard one of the astronomers talking about the eclipse, I believe through Visit Erie, said not being in the path of totality for the eclipse when it's this close to where you live and work is like driving to Disneyland or Disney World and staying in the parking lot. Like, you've made it this far. Come a little closer so that you're in the path of totality so you can fully experience what's going to happen. It's Monday, April 8th, around 3 p.m. I think 3:08 is the official time. There's something more I wanted to make sure I made clear for that, and now I've forgotten. Visit Erie is doing a ton because they are also in the path of totality, and of course, being one of our partners in the PA Great Lakes region, they are expecting upwards of 250,000 visitors to Erie. They've been doing a lot of work in terms of public safety planning because, okay, so this is what I was remembered and then forgot, and now I've remembered again. It will get dark. It will get dark like nighttime because it's blocking out the sun at the highest point in the day, middle of the day, but also you're going to experience basically like dusk and nightfall in the afternoon, like around 2:45 to 3:15, like that half an hour of time, we'll say. So it's going to be like dusk again. It'll be full on dark, and then it will start to get light again as the moon moves and the sun reappears. So
real quick, if you look on the map, Titusville is right below the Canadian flag. Meadville is right above the P in Pennsylvania. Edinburgh, Corey. So Titusville really is on the edge of this thing.
The edge, but yes, it is. It is in the path. It counts.
That's crazy. I mean, Meadville, Corey, Edinburgh. I mean, you guys are right there. So
yeah. So it's very exciting. So like those folks, if you live in that area, you don't even have to go anywhere to experience it. Be in your backyard. Just a matter of you got to keep in mind, trees. Fortunately for us, we don't have a lot of tall buildings that would get in the way, especially because it's 3 p.m. So we are working on figuring out where there are safe and, city official locations where people can gather. We want to make sure we get that information out to folks. Again, with Erie and their safety concerns, PennDOT, they don't want people stopping on the highways to watch the eclipse. Obviously, they don't really want people pulling over on the highways to watch the eclipse either, though. You're going to have to put your lights on like you're driving at night because it's going to be that dark. If you do happen to be out on the road at that time of day on April 8th. So there's concerns like that. But like, it'll affect insects and wildlife and birds chirping in a similar way that they do at dawn and dusk. It's going to be really neat. And the fact that we've known this is coming for some time, and there are a lot of people who've put a lot of work and planning into making sure this is going to be a great opportunity that people are going to be able to make the most of it is really cool. And it makes you think about why like ancient people were very freaked out when eclipses happen, because if you didn't know that was coming, that would be very unsettling.
Real quick, you're watching The Morning Drill on Stream Television and on Armstrong's Neighborhood Channel. Emily Altomare with us here this morning, the Oil Region Alliance. I'd assume you need special glasses? You
need special glasses or some sort of protective vision. And there's a lot of stuff out there. We, as the Oil Region Alliance, actually have some things that we're going to try and make available in places. They're not like the glasses like you wear for a 3D movie, but they're just a card that's specially made to have a little, protective film so you can look through it. But there's also, there's videos on the internet about how you make the box with the hole and all that stuff. And I think as we get a little bit closer and determine some locations, we'll know if they're going to be folks distributing those supplies, if any scientists and astronomy fans are going to have telescopes available and that kind of thing around here. Obviously, there's stuff like that going on in Erie, which is kind of your closest bigger city that will be involved in things. And there's stuff leading up to the eclipse. So if you're just now learning about it and you want to find out more, there is like special programming going on between now and then to learn more about what it means and other things about astronomy. So it's a great time for people to kind of like catch that bug and get really interested in space and the sun, the moon, the stars, and that whole bit.
Now, photographers, videographers, people like that, do they need anything special?
I think so, but I'm not sure. Right. I don't know how that works.
Because I assume a lot of people will be coming up and covering this.
Yes.
So, interesting. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's been really great. Visit Erie actually has a countdown clock on their website.
Oh, wow.
That's counting down like to the seconds. They've got some great materials. They've been using the catchphrase, the ultimate sunblock. And so they were out giving out tubes of sunblock all summer at like Presque Isle and places. By the way, they don't want you to be on Presque Isle for the eclipse. That makes public safety people very nervous, the idea of a ton of people going into a place that has only one way in and one way out. So, I mean, if you were thinking that just now, like, I know where Beach 11 is where I'm going to watch the eclipse. Like, probably not. Let's just look into some things, do some planning. And so this is our January meeting. We'll have one more. Well, no, we'll have February and March. So we'll be able to get some more details for people hammered out. So we will follow up with the eclipse and be ready.
Excellent. Okay, if you go to and that's fantastic. So that's expect people to be coming back to the area and visiting and
people are coming in. I'm planning at least getting my parents up here, but some other family and friends. We've been welcoming folks. OC&T is doing a wine train that Friday and Saturday, the weekend before. We're finally getting some buzz, but so far I do not know of any specific community events that are planned like as real-time eclipse viewing. But as I know more, I will let you know.
Real quick, River of the Year?
River of the Year, Allegheny River is up for...
That's a beautiful picture.
Being voted on. That's from our office, and I can't remember if that's a Kim Harris photo or not. We were just looking at these yesterday. But yes, definitely beautiful photo. It's such a great bragging point, and we had French Creek See, this is the thing about time and how fast it goes. I don't know if French Creek was 23 or 22. I think it might have been 23. Point is, Western Pennsylvania has beautiful waterways, and we appreciate them very much, and other people need to know about them. And one of the great ways to do that is to have them nominated and win these types of designations. So we have links for voting for the Allegheny River for River of the Year in Pennsylvania on the Oil Region's Facebook page, and you can find out more information about the contest from there.
Monte Carlo night.
Monte Carlo night. Luke, you got to get your ticket and your black tie and or cocktail dress and join us for a fun night of casino-style games. This is Saturday, February 24th at Wildcat in Franklin. $75 a ticket, includes drinks and hors d'oeuvres and some free play of the casino games, and then you can buy additional chips and gamble for fun prizes, as well as what else are we doing? We've got, I mean, it's just a fun night to get dressed up and hang out and have fun, learn a little bit more about the oil region and what we do, because there are so many projects that you wouldn't even necessarily think would be done under the same roof, but they are. Anything from economic development, community development, brownfield reclamation, the whole tourism program, which I get to come and talk to you about on the regular, but also outdoor recreation development, and of course, all that heritage and history interpretation that goes on, and preservation. So lots happening there. Please join us.
Going on. Well, Emily, if folks have questions, want more information, how do they find you?
They should send me an email would be best at ealtomare@oilregion.org, but also give us a call at the ORA office at 814-677-3152, or stop in 8:30 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, 217 Elm Street in Oil City.
A lot going on.
Yeah, always. It never stops. Someday we'll have a special where it's just you and I with our feet up.
What's going on? Nothing.
Nothing. Just quiet.
Yeah. Summer will be here before you know it, right?
It really will. Yes. Yeah. So don't put the flip-flops too far in the back of the closet.
Thanks, Emily. Take care.
Thank you, Luke.